Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes again. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Aries. That's Aries Sun, Aries Moon, Aries Rising for the month of October 2025. Before I get started, I just want to welcome my new subscribers. Welcome to this family of wonderful, seeking, lovely, compassionate souls. To my tried and true who make up this lovely community, thank you for your continued support. To my new members of my channel here, my YouTube membership, welcome, welcome. There is more videos to come, a few more people for the bag of deplorables, and a few more people for the bag of adorables. And all my videos evaluating celebrities, political figures, situations, countries are all part of my library on my membership. So if you like the kind of work that I do, and you were wondering, gee, I wonder if she did one on, say, Bernie Sanders like 4 times, I think. But anyway, it's because I love Bernie. But whatever, it's available. And to my uh, excuse me, to my Patreon people, thank you so much for your continued support. It means the world to me. Sorry, I had a little frog. Okay, get rid of the frog and let's get to the astrology. So I'm going to be doing the astrology first. Can you hear that? That's like a bird outside. Ah, where? It could be a wren. Anyway, well, that's interesting because wrens usually mean express yourself. So that may be a message for you guys. For not that I can't imagine Aries have too much issue with expressing themselves, but I married an Aries. He doesn't seem to have an issue with expressing himself. Okay. All right, we're going to look at the general astrology first for October, and then we'll look specifically for you, how it applies to you. We start the month off with a bit of a kerfuffle. Of course, last month was a very transformational, busy, crazy, watch your nervous system kind of month. It continues as we start October 1st with a square between Mercury and Jupiter. This is crisis producing. We could this is sort of a the facts versus the belief, right? And they're sort of at cross purposes with each other, and so that creates a lot of friction. I think people are going to be waking up, um, despite despite themselves wanting to wake up, and that's going to create a lot of chaos. Um, on the 6th, Mercury, the planet of the mind, moves into Scorpio on the same day as a full moon in Aries. That is the full moon lunation for the month. It's at 15 of Aries, right in the middle of the sign, with the sun right in the middle of Libra. The Sabian symbol for that Aries moon is an Indian weaving a ceremonial blanket. And it is a symbol of cosmic consciousness, how we're all sort of interweaved with each other. We will keep that in mind, especially as Scorpio sort of moves Scorpio, Mercury sort of moves into Scorpio, because Scorpio is a water sign. And with water, and for people who are water signs, it's hard, it's flowing. There's always an ebb and a flow, and boundaries are not as, they're not as structured in water, right? It's more subtle. The boundaries are more subtle in water. We have Mercury as it moves into Scorpio, making it in conjunct to Neptune. The next day, an in conjunct to Uranus and a square to Pluto. So it's under a lot of pressure from the transpersonals. Um, on Wednesday, we have a lovely sextile between Venus and Jupiter. That hopefully will mitigate some of the more challenging aspects to Mercury. But it is an opportunity for us to talk about uh, Who needs help? What kind of help do we need? This is good for opening the lines of communication. It's good for sort of airing things out and discussing things. On the 11th, we have Venus make an opposition to Saturn. This could be a little bit of a downturn financially, just generally the economy, perhaps. But Venus opposite Saturn does bring this energy of, Saturn is where the boundary is, and Venus is what we love. And so we can get an eye of pretty much where we stand, what we have, and what we have to work with. On the 13th, Venus ingresses into Libra, and she actually gets a nice welcome, except she does have an opposition to Neptune. So she's just coming off the opposition to Saturn. She moves into Libra. She's sort of still in that opposition to Saturn, and then Neptune comes along and she opposes Neptune. So there is this sense of like seeing the limitation and then the next day seeing the limitlessness of things. So there is limits and limitlessness are sort of walking hand in hand at this time. And so you have to work within your limits, but you don't have to imagine within your limits. And so there's a balance. It's almost like it feels like this to me. I don't know, like that, probably not helpful. Okay. We have Pluto on the same day that Venus moves into Libra and opposes Neptune. We have Pluto moving into Aquarius. I mean, not moving into Aquarius, turning direct in Aquarius. At 2 degrees of Aquarius, the Sabian symbol, an unexpected thunderstorm, just what we need, an unexpected thunderstorm. When the outer planets, especially Pluto, change direction, we'll usually see something happen in the outer world that is significant. Um, it also is making a trine, Pluto is, which is exact the next day to Venus, and also Uranus is making a trine to Venus, which means that Venus is part of a grand air trine. Venus is relationships. It's also money. There can be big changes and shifts in money and relationship at this time. On Friday, the 17th, the Sun squares Jupiter. We can be over optimistic or we can be arrogant. We can overextend ourselves. You have to be careful. You don't hurt your back, things like that. On the 19th, Mercury conjuncts Mars at 20 degrees of Scorpio. Now, Mars is your ruling planet, Aries. So the sign that Mars is in and things that happen with Mars are going to be important. Mars spends the whole month in Scorpio for you. And on the tree of life, that Mars in Scorpio sits in the throat chakra. So this can be incisive communication. And certainly with Mercury conjunct Mars at 20 degrees of Scorpio, this is thought and action at the same time, simultaneous, right? Now, that's really good, but it depends on your intent, right? But it doesn't depend on your intent. It's a really good to get the word out there, to penetrate with your words, but it's also a time to attack with words. So it is a bit of a dangerous time. We could see some issues around free speech. There's a lot of issues around free speech this month, so just be aware of that. The Sabian symbol for 20 degrees of Scorpio is a woman draws away, dark curtain closing the entrance to a sacred pathway. Faith in the future. Faith in the future. That's where we have to have it. Faith in the future. I walk and live in faith. I'll tell you that. On the 21st, we have a new moon in the sign of Libra. It's at 29 of Libra. New moons are always new beginnings, right? New opportunities. Libra is relationship and types of relationship. It's also business agreements and stuff like that. So something new coming with that. The Sabian symbol, involvement in humanity's evolution of wisdom. It says we take from our ancestors and pass to our descendants, thus co-create the flowing and flowering of knowledge. So share your knowledge with others and listen to others' knowledge and wisdom, because we are all going to need each other, and we're all going to, we all have these different talents and abilities. And if you can bring them together for the benefit of the whole in the community, I think that really is going to be the future, not just of America, but of the world. It's just that these overlords who think they're invincible have yet to realize that perhaps they're not. Okay, on the 22nd, this is an important day. It is the day that the sun ingresses into Scorpio. It does make an irritating inconjunct to Neptune, so things are a little foggy with the sun in conjunct Neptune, and then the sun going into the water sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is deep diving, man. So unless you got goggles, I don't know how easy it's going to be to see. But we also have Neptune moving back into Pisces, and this is Neptune's last hurrah in Pisces. It's going to be there for a couple of months. It's only going to be within the last degree, the 30th degree of Pisces. Becoming what you idealize is the Sabian symbol for that. So be aware of who you idealize, because that's who you will become. Pick well, grasshopper. And of course, once the sun moves into Scorpio, it's kind of going to get the same treatment that Mercury did when it went into Scorpio. So it's going to be harder in the beginning, but then things should ease up a bit for Scorpio, or for the sun in Scorpio anyway. We have an inconjunct to Neptune, an inconjunct to Uranus, so it's in that Yod configuration, and a square from Pluto. Same type of square. Last quarter, crisis in consciousness, rebelliousness, questioning authority. I think there's going to be quite a bit of protest this month. Okay. On the 24th. So as the sun squares Pluto, actually Mercury makes a trine to Jupiter, which is very nice. It's a nice flowing energy. And Mercury the next day makes a trine to Saturn, which means that Saturn and Jupiter actually trine each other. And so we have a grand trine in water, Jupiter in Cancer, Mercury in Scorpio, and Saturn in Pisces. That can be a very healing energy. It can also be flooding, so just be aware that there could be some flooding at that time. On Wednesday, the 29th, Mercury will trine Neptune. And then it enters Sagittarius. As soon as it moves into Sag, it will oppose Uranus, which is at the 1st degree of Gemini. But then it sextiles Pluto, which is very helpful. And it is a sextile of progressive thinking. So the opposition to Uranus and the sextile to Pluto in this progressive sort of direction, we may actually see people moving in a more progressive direction. And I'm thinking like this would be right before the election in New York City, where we have a progressive running against the old governor of the state, right? So we may, with the win there, I think we'll see the promise of a progressive future, or closer to the promise of a progressive future. Okay, so that's that. Let's look at it for you. This isn't that much different, because Aries is the pure energy of the zodiac, right? So here we have Neptune in your first house until the 22nd, when it moves back into the 12th house, where Neptune likes being anyway. Saturn in your 12th house. Just a little more junk out of your cosmic closet is getting washed out. Maybe power washed. Maybe the corners are getting power washed now. Here's Pluto up in the 11th house, going to be there for a long time, transforming your friendships, transforming your goals. It's also the house of technology. So we're going to see a lot of innovation with technology that you may actually benefit quite a bit by, because you're the type of person who's not afraid to take the chance and not afraid to try the new thing. We have Venus here in the 6th house as we start, then it moves into the 7th. Venus likes being in the 7th house. The sun is there, Mercury's there. This is a very good time for a relationship for you. Venus, remember when it moves into Libra, it makes the trine to Pluto, it makes the trine to Uranus, and here we have your air houses, your relationship houses getting juiced up by these transpersonal planets. So it's going to shift your relationships. The full moon here is in Aries, and with the sun in Libra, this is the I and thou opposition. And so you have an opportunity to see where you are in your relationships with yourself, where you are in relationships with others. If you look at your relationships with others, you can pretty much get an idea of your relationship with yourself. Honestly, because all relationships are reflections of our relationship to ourselves. If we think well of ourselves and we think we can be successful and we think why not me, right? You succeed. But if you're like, oh dear, everything I do turns to crap. Well, there you go, right? All right. This is the new moon. The new moon does happen in your house of relationships. So this is an opportunity for a new relationship. The sun, after it's done in Libra, moves into the 8th house. This is the house of death, taxes, and the like. This is a good time to evaluate the things that you maybe your Social Security, maybe want to check that. There's a lot of problems with the Social Security Administration now. Maybe you want to get a jump on stuff that normally you would wait, like you want to do it now, so then months ahead that you at least have your name in with things. So it's a good time to evaluate your security, the money you share with others. Of course, Mars is there, so there's a lot of action and activity in that house already. It's going to be there all month. It's the Scorpio house doing Scorpio things. Mercury will move from Libra in the 7th house to the 8th house. So this is talking relationships, talking and then deeper talking and feeling and emotions. And then it goes into Sag, which is about the vision. It's a future oriented, vision oriented sign. And so there's a lot of relating that has to happen with all of this energy in these two houses. These are the two houses that deal with relationship. And it's not necessarily terrible things, but it is things that you need to attend to. So it's not, can't put that on the back burner. Relationship will become definitely an important focus for you. All right, that's the story on that. Let me stop my share here, and I will read some cards for you. Now, I just had a deck. Let me see. Hold on 1 minute. I don't think I've used this deck yet. And even if I have, I can use it more than once. This is the Druidcraft Tarot. It's a beautiful tarot. It's got beautiful artwork, but it's a bit unwieldy. These cards are so enormous. What did I do here? Did I do that? No, I didn't. Okay. So it's going to take me a bit. So have a little patience. I know you Aries are very patient. Like I said, I married an Aries. Actually, he is quite patient for an Aries. I'll give him that. He does not like to repeat himself, though. Are you like that, Aries? Which became a problem, when my mother got dementia. Because with dementia, you have to say the same thing over and over and over again, and you have to be okay with saying the same thing over and over again to include them in any kind of conversation. And Michael was never really good at that. I was much better at that. Okay. Let's see. What do we have? Ooh, the High Priestess. There, I have a little secret for you. So the High Priestess is a number of things. First of all, the High Priestess on the Tree of Life sits right here on this path. like the path of direct connection from spirit to your heart. Spirit to your heart. So you are connected. You're in the flow, man. You see her eyes are closed. She's looking within. She's using her intuition. So let's see the crossing card. The Four of Swords. This guy here, sort of resting, right? Resting from his battles. He's not completely disarmed, keeping his sword on his lap, but there's sort of a very, it's not quite pensive. It almost looks like he's plotting and planning or thinking. He's thinking. To challenge, as a challenge card, this is pure inspiration, challenged by thinking too much. Take a rest from thinking too much. Underneath, we have the Four of Wands. So this is a celebration, sort of a family card, or, like-minded people coming together for celebration. It's a good basis. It's the root card, so it's a good card to be standing on, because you're sort of standing on a sense of mutual support and mutual celebration. In the past, we have the Ten of Cups, so happiness, right? Oh, remember when? Like, maybe you're doing that. Remember when life was easier? Remember when we thought we had it bad? We actually had it great, right? Like that kind of energy. It's a very much a family-oriented card. Perhaps you've recently spent some time with family, your children, your grandchildren. It's been very nurturing and very helpful for you. In a way, I think it's helped you to remember what is most valuable in your life. And so it gives you an opportunity to, like, put down the sword, maybe not fight so much, um, and open to spirit. Ooh, we have the Ace of Pentacles in the sky. This is very fortuitous. This means a new opportunity. So there's a new opportunity floating in the ethers for you. Let's see let's see the card of the whole month. Okay, so you get the Seven of Wands. I always call this the card of the month, because it's the immediate future, 6 weeks out, and the month is like 5 weeks. So this is the month card. We get the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is somebody who is guarding their domain. They are ready for battle if they need to be. They see them coming. You have the higher moral ground. You also have you have the advantage here. But there is something coming, right? You can see over in this deck anyway, you can see who's coming. In the other decks, you're seeing it from the perspective of the enemy coming to the person. Here you're seeing it from the perspective of the person as the enemy advances. And maybe it's not the enemy, but certainly something is coming and you can see it coming. So it could also be a symbol of to trust your intuition. I mean, this high priestess, first thing out, says to me, you may be getting some visions and you need to pay attention to them because they are accurate. Hopes and fears. No, how it's seen from the outside. Ooh, I'm getting flowers. Let me move that. And you put that right there. Ooh, look at my pretty flowers. My pretty flowers from an Aries. The Aries reading. From the garden. From the Aries garden. How people see you. People see you as a warrior for justice. Woo! Look at you. Look at you go. You hold the sword of truth. In the domestic situation, you have the Wheel of Fortune. In this deck, the Wheel of Fortune, she's creating a boundary between so she's creating a boundary so she can do ritual And they call where you do the ritual between the worlds. It's the liminal space between the other side and this physical environment. So perhaps this card is saying to do some ritual in your house, maybe do a protection around your house. But wherever you are, you want to create a sacred space and a safe space for your work to be done, for your ritual. Hopes and fears, the lady, which is the Empress, she's usually fertile. So unless you're worried about being too fertile, abundance. Now, in political tarot, sometimes this is Russia. I don't know if you're worried about Russia. It seems out of line with this whole reading, so we're not going to say that. Uh, it could be a fear of success, because with success comes responsibility. And it's not like you don't do your responsibilities, but you like to be more free. As an Aries, you generally like to be more free. Ooh, we get Chrononos. Do I need to cover something here? I don't think so. I don't think I need to cover anything. These rules on YouTube, they just make me crazy. Anyway, Chrononos in this deck, this is the devil, but in this deck, it's not the same as in the other decks. This is primal. This is the primal creative force, the masculine energy, right? This is the strength of nature. And the connection to it. Um, it's not just about like being in heaven, but it's about bringing heaven to earth. Okay. All right. Let's see what's underneath all of this. We have the moon. So something coming up from beneath. The Six of Pentacles, fair distribution of resources, paying off debts. And then the Princess of Pentacles, which is sort of a new learning experience. So these cards actually are very good, Aries. I'm very happy for you. Um, yeah, it looks like a lot of success is on the way. But there's the fight to be fought, and if anybody can fight it, it's you. All right, one more thing. We're going to pick a Crystal Ally card from the Crystal Ally deck to see if there is a crystal that Aries might find useful in this month. Hematite. Now, this is something that you can get very easily. Hematite. It's an earth energy card, and it's called Manifesting Light. Manifesting Light. It's hematite is made of is made of iron, and it's black, shiny black. But if you rub it against the ground, it's red. Uh, and the hemo, right, meaning red, like the red blood cells, hema, right? So it's got the life force within it. You can't tell because it's black, but when you scrape it, you see the red, which is always symbolic of life force. It's also a conduit for light to manifest into something. And so light is information. And so being open to information, it really does go hand in hand with this card. We could maybe put one card on top of the other, right? And see it coming down, right? It comes down and you manifest. Okay. So stay open, stay focused, get out of your head, listen to the things that are coming through your intuition. When I say get out of your head, I mean worrying this, that, and the other thing. What's the next action I have to take? Or, right? Instinct and intuition is the key. And you will be rewarded for it. And hematite's a good stone to carry anyway because it grounds us. This is true for everybody. It does ground us at a time when things are very ungrounded. So any of the grounding stones will always be helpful for anyone at this time because we really are, there's an expression. We're kind of riding blind or running blind, but maybe not you, because you can see what's coming. Let us know. Let us know. All right. Have yourself a wonderful month. I'll see you again in November. We'll make it to November. I'm telling myself. All right. Take care, everyone. I love you guys. And I'll see you next month. Namaste.